Hello, Easton, and welcome to the Rabbi's Roundtable. I'm Rabbi Peter Hyman, Rabbi at Temple B'nai Israel, and we are coming to you from the studios of MCTV in the basement of the Avalon Theater. And welcome back to the Rabbi's Roundtable. I have two guests with me this afternoon. One is familiar, one first time to the Rabbi's Roundtable.
Yes, it is.
Dr. Barry Coe. Barry, welcome, and glad you're here. And of course, those of you who watch regularly have seen Professor Joseph Prudhomme on the Rabbi's Roundtable often and frequently.
Indeed,
and Jay,
always a pleasure.
Thank you. Joe, thank you for being back, and we're glad to have you. I want to talk about something that's coming up that you both are directly involved in. Before we get to that, I just want to mention the Institute for Religion, Politics, and Culture that you oversee at Washington College. Let's tell them about the two courses that are going
Absolutely.
to be...
So the Institute studies the historic and ongoing contributions of religion to political and cultural life, and one way that we do that is by offering new and distinctive courses to our students at Washington College.
Yes.
And we've been so honored that you have been teaching with us now for your second semester.
Yes.
And so I'd like for you to tell them just briefly about the course you have coming up this spring.
This spring we are going to teach a course called The Themes in the Hebrew Bible.
Absolutely.
Which is, for me, it's very exciting. And thank you again.
Great opportunity for the students
and
valuable for them.
The college for allowing me to do this. We're going to take a look primarily at the first 5 books. And if there's time, then we will expand into prophets and writings. But we're going to look at the major themes that are prevalent in the 5 books, how they are relevant to the world in which we live, how they change perhaps given that the text appears thousands of years ago first. But I guess my overall approach would be to communicate the notion that the biblical text speaks to us because human nature hasn't changed in all these centuries and millennia.
The first course was wonderfully executed. It was extremely well attended. We had guest faculty members auditing the course. It was really a wonderful thing. It's our honor to have you come back this spring.
Thank you. And let's talk about your course.
And then in the spring I'll offer a new course called The African American Church and the Struggle for Freedom, which will discuss the history of the African American Church in the pre-revolutionary period, in the revolutionary period, the struggle, the hard struggle for freedom throughout the 19th century, and then the continuing impact that the African American Church has in continuing the struggle for freedom today.
That's going to be
racism, bigotry, intolerance in all its forms.
It's going to be that's a fascinating course for a lot of reasons. We have made progress,
indeed,
but we are not as far along as we should. And,
absolutely. African American Church has really represented a prophetic voice against institutions of racism and injustice. Without
question. One thing that I think is interesting as a clergy person, as we become more modernized, I think the role of religious institutions across the board, whether it's the black church or the synagogue or the Catholic Church, whatever, has sort of diminished in its.
To some extent,
yeah.
That's right.
So it's going to be an interesting.
That's right. And I think in part that is a function of a loss of memory about the historic importance of these institutions. Yes. And I think if we have a better appreciation for that legacy, I think that they can be renewed in serving the public good today.
I agree. Anyway, I look forward to that.
Absolutely.
I look forward to teaching, and I want to talk about now why we're really here, and that is to talk about the humanitarian award that is going to be presented to Fred and Leslie Israel, or just Fred, basically.
Well, it's both.
It
was presented last year.
Yes, it actually was presented on December 8th at 4:30 p.m. at Temple B'nai Israel.
Yes.
And Barry, as one of the chairs, please fill us in.
Yes, well, last fall we honored Fred and Leslie Israel, who are known to so many people here in Easton and in the Eastern Shore area for all the things they've done for the community over the years, with the first humanitarian award that the Temple presented to anyone. And we were fortunate, there were so many in the people in the community wanted to honor them with sponsorship for the temple that we wanted to do something that really exemplified their humanitarian instincts. And we spoke to Fred, and Fred feels very strongly that we speak of tolerance, but what's really required is brotherhood. And he often referred to the letter that George Washington wrote to the synagogue in Newport,
Yep.
in which Washington expressed the feeling that tolerance only gives the impression that you're allowing somebody to have the benefit which they inherently deserve and own. And Eleanor Roosevelt said, when you speak of tolerating somebody, what you're really saying is you really don't like them very much.
Correct.
It's sufferance, not solidarity.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And so Fred was very interested in this topic and very knowledgeable of it, and we thought the way to honor him is to put together this program which speaks to brotherhood, not tolerance. And from my standpoint, as having been chairman of the Humanitarian Award event, to have the two of you involved in this is just wonderful. And I'll let you talk about what you've got planned.
So we do have this forum on brotherhood scheduled. As I said, it's going to be Sunday, 4:30 p.m., December 8 at Temple B'nai Israel. And let's just talk about who's coming and
Absolutely. We have a wealth of talent, leaders in the community here on the Eastern Shore and also across the state, indeed across the country. We'll have Father Jim Nash, who has for 5 years now been the senior pastor at St. Peter's and Paul, celebrated just recently his 25th anniversary of being a priest. We'll also have Reverend Dr. William Wallace, who is the minister at Union United Methodist Church
in St.
Michael's, an historically African-American congregation, a very dynamic congregation, and he'll speak to us, and we're really thrilled to have him. And then two guests coming from across the bridge. Dr. Benjamin Sachs, who is the Director of Judaic Studies at the Institute for Islamic, Christian, and Jewish Studies in Towson, an excellent organization. And also Hala Atala, who is a fellow in Islamic Studies at the same institute, again, the Institute for Islamic, Christian, and Jewish Studies in Towson. Her work is on Quranic understandings of the need for care to be extended to those with physical disabilities. It's a really remarkable set of works and researches that she's been doing on that. So we'll bring these people together from differing religious perspectives, but all of whom share a deep respect for each other and a common cause to advance brotherhood and move beyond, as Barry had said, the idea that what you're doing is something noxious to me, but I'll tolerate it for the time being.
Right.
But instead, seeing the things that unite us so that we can work together for a better future, hand in hand.
You know, somebody said, when they asked me about this the other day, and I told them the topic, they said, "Oh, why brotherhood? Isn't it enough already?" And I think that comment speaks to the need and the necessity for why you guys chose this.
Well, I also think that we're living in an age where political leaders around the world are trying to separate us, and they're using this for their own political advantage. And this is a very critical topic for this era. For somebody to think that brotherhood is hackneyed or outmoded just misses the point completely.
No better time than now to have such a forum. And Fred, of course, means by brotherhood all humans.
Right.
So we're talking about men and women very much
working
together from these different traditions.
Of course. And how will the forum take place? What will be the format and?
Well, as I understand it, what we'll do is have opening remarks from each of our 4 participants, and then we'll open the conversation up to the community. That you and I and Barry will also serve as facilitators, so that we can ensure that the community's voice is heard in these important conversations.
And it's going to be taking place at Temple. Right. Hopefully we'll have all 3 bays open. There'll be that many people to come in and to participate. But Barry, you're right. We are living in a challenging time. In many ways, more challenging than I can remember in my lifetime. And I believe that certainly as a religious institution, we have a responsibility to make a statement, not just to make a statement, but respond in such a way as, sorry, we provide something else, a role model, a statement that says that's not right.
Indeed, and
clear
alternative.
I think the major religions that we have represented in this panel all come from a point of view that we are all created in the image of the one God.
Indeed.
And we all share that humanity, and we need to reinforce that point and make sure that people learn to live that way.
And you know, we do have an inspiring role model for this in the life of Fred Israel himself. He has been a leader in interfaith work. He has served, as you know, on the board of Jesuit universities and has been active across the United States as a champion of these values.
As
so
has
there's
Leslie.
really, and of course, indeed, Leslie across the world. So I can't imagine a better person for us to have as the namesake for this panel, because he has lived this for 92 years. An incredible person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
terrific.
Yes, and I'm glad we can do this and have him participate.
Absolutely.
It means a lot. And again, it's important that the community sees that the institutions within the community are responding to the challenges of the time that we are living in and making a statement and providing some sense of an alternative reality to what's happening.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely.
So we are excited about that. Thoughts and comments about the topic, and anything further you want to add?
I would just add that what Barry had said is absolutely correct, that we're in a corrosive time in our culture in which we're being divided, in which we're branding each other by labels which don't fit and belittle and do us no credit. And so instead, to shine forth a model of brotherhood that radiates from all of these religious traditions and to find common cause is exactly what we need to do today.
Yeah.
So it's just an honor to be working with both of you on this.
Well,
Barry,
thank
I
you
know
very
you
much.
share
For
the
us
same.
as well. Anything you want to add,
I
Barry?
think we've covered it very nicely. I just hope that people will take the time to join with us. We'll have a little bit of refreshment afterwards so that people will have an opportunity to ask further questions and get to know the speakers a little
Indeed.
bit more intimately.
Then I'll definitely come. There's refreshments? Good, that's good to know.
and
Feed them and they will come.
That's exactly
right.
correct.
Well, and the synagogue has been so generous to provide transportation for students from Washington College. So I have a lot of the students whom I'm working with and other faculty at Washington College are working with, so that we can communicate these values to the next generation.
Yeah, and as they who have watched this show before with you on, you know my affection for the college, not just because of you, but because I think it's a profoundly
Indeed.
important institution in our area. I'm glad that we have this relationship
Absolutely.
with the students. We want them there. We actually need them there, and they need to be there.
Excellent.
So thank you for doing that,
Thank you.
and both of you. Again, we are talking about the upcoming event. It's the Fred and Leslie Israel Humanitarian Award, which is going to deal with the concept of brotherhood in the world. 4:30 p.m. Sunday, December 8th, 2019, at Temple B'nai Israel. We've been talking with Dr. Barry Coe and Professor Joseph Prudhomme, who are overseeing the forum. And if you would like to attend and you are interested in coming and participating, please call the office, the Temple office. The phone number, and they'll put it up under the screen, but the phone number is 410-822-0553, 410-822-0553. Call the office and make reservations so that you can participate and benefit from this dynamic and what I know will be a very worthwhile opportunity.
Excellent.
So again, Barry and Joe, thank you for being
It's our
at the Rabbi's
pleasure.
Roundtable. It's a short show this week, but there'll be more coming up. And Easton, I'll see you next time on the Rabbi's Roundtable.